afternoon, good morning, good evening, ignorant millennials. How you guys doing? Depending on what part of the world you're in today. I'm your host, Kat. I'm not alone today. As you can see, I'm joined by a beautiful lady all the way from the United States of America, the land of milk and honey. As we know it, as we perceive it, but we'll find out if it really is the land of milk and honey. I'm joined by the beautiful Toni Wilmot. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Hi, my name's Toni Wilmot. I'm a wardrobe stylist from Washington D.C.
Yes. And how's life in the States, Toni? We're in the midst of these protests that are going on, racism and everything else. Obviously, racism has always been there in the States, but I think it's reached that breaking point where people, not just only black people, but even the white community as well, is like, listen, enough is enough of this inequality, so and injustice. So how is it? What's the climate currently right there?
So I'm in Washington D.C. So I'm literally like that's like the
Yes,
political capital of the United States.
yes,
So it's very very overwhelming being a black woman, and
yes,
just knowing that at any moment this could be you or somebody that you love.
yes,
It's very heartbreaking. And it's
yes.
something that's serious, and I feel like I'm tired. My people are tired. Like it's at a point where enough is enough, like you said. And I've been protesting in downtown DC. I've been going to protest, and it's actually really crazy because the police are really, really like, how do I say it? They're very like abrasive. Like these are peaceful protests, and
Mm.
they are bringing tear gas in. They're bringing fake bombs to scare us.
Shoo.
Yeah, there's police officers getting very aggressive and
Wait, wait,
fighting
wait. Did I just hear you say bombs as
fake
well?
bombs. It's like,
Yes,
so what they do is there's like, it's not real, but it makes like a really loud noise, like
yes,
it's an actual bomb, and it scares people. So people
yeah,
scatter, run away, stuff like that.
yes,
A lot of
yes,
people actually were getting arrested because DC had the mayor of DC enacted a curfew. So if you were out past curfew, the
yes.
police could arrest you.
Shoo.
So I luckily didn't get arrested. I don't know anybody that I know that got arrested, but I
Mm.
know that I saw like people were like going missing or
Yes,
getting
yes,
arrested.
yes.
So excuse me, it is very overwhelming, and it's a lot going on, especially and we're it's still in a pandemic here.
Mm,
COVID is still real.
mhm.
Um, and I think the focus has shifted from COVID to this, but I mean, everybody for the most part, we were still like at under a stay-at-home order. Most of the
Yes,
states.
yes,
I know some states are lifting it now, but where I live, um, they are their stay-at-home orders were still,
yes,
enacted. So it's been a lot. It's been very difficult. And then our president, is racist, and just terrible. Like he just doesn't
yeah,
do anything. I feel like COVID could have definitely we could have taken better preventable measures, but
yes,
because he was telling people that COVID's not real.
yes,
He was calling it the Chinese virus, which is very, very bad, very, very xenophobic,
yeah,
because now people are gonna associate something that's not, has nothing to do with China. It was just, I think it just, the spread,
mm,
to my understanding, the spread of it, I don't know if it started in China or it just like boomed, like
mhm,
China had the first
yeah,
wave,
yes,
similar to like Ebola, and I
yes,
think it's difficult because now we're heavily affected by it, and our president could have, taken better measures
so
completely.
let me then ask, what is the memorandum? So I don't know how it's done like in the United States of America, but like in
Mhm.
South Africa, when we have a march, we have a memorandum which you typically hand over to whomever you are protesting to or against. So in this particular, you want the government to hear your grievances, so you'd hand over that memorandum to um, the government. So, what would you say right now is the memorandum of the United States citizens, or your own personal memorandum that, listen, this is what we expect. These are reasons for marching. Obviously, we already know your reasons for marching, but
Mhm.
this is what we expect from you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's different for me personally. I think we should definitely defund the police and not put so much funding into police, especially. And also, I think that there should be better measures in when training police officers. I definitely think they
Yes.
need background checks and make sure that police officers are not,
Mm-hmm.
racist. But I mean, even back in the day, there were people that were part of the KKK that were police officers.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's something that has been going on for a long time. So even then, I would say for me, how I feel, I think that we need to reform the whole justice system. I think it's very fucked up. Excuse my language. It's very fucked up.
It's fine. It's
It's
yeah.
it's systematic racism is real. It's not a system that was built for people of color, especially Black people. I
Mm,
mean, when you think about it, the people who did build this country and everything that the government's built on, it was built by white men.
mm-hmm.
So, that's what we are, running by. And I
Mm,
think that there needs to be serious changes because America is different. It's diverse.
mm-hmm.
People are trying to
Mm-hmm.
be progressive,
Mm,
and I think that it's a melting pot, and I
mm,
think that better measurements need to be taken, to ensure that all people are
mm,
protected. I mean, especially Black people for sure,
mm.
but
100.
just, I mean, all Black people, Black
Mm,
trans people, Black LGBT, like
mm.
they're not protected either. So it's literally, I feel like the Black Lives Matter movement is specifically for all Black people. It's not just we're fighting for Black
Yes.
men, Black
Yes.
women, Black
Yes.
children, you
Yes.
know. So, and I think that that's basically what it is here. Is we're trying
Mm,
to bring awareness that police brutality is something
mm,
that cannot be ignored, brushed over. It cannot be something, these people who are doing crimes, like they
mm-hmm.
need to be, they need to be
Yes.
avenged, justice there.
Yes.
So it's a lot. It's very overwhelming, and especially since people are not understanding the movement
Yes.
and what's being said and stuff. So I mean, it's a lot. It's
Okay.
literally a lot.
Okay. 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 So, without any further ado, I just want us to like just go straight to the topic of the day. So, Tony, you are a blogger, creator of the monodramatic. So I want us to go into in depth, but first and foremost, please explain your Instagram handle, Primala Princess. Yes.
um, so I made that Instagram handle when I was 15. But I like like prima donna. I kind of like that name, but
Mm,
that was taken. But I like the idea of like prima. It kind of means
ye-
like, how do I explain it? It kind of means somebody that's like the it girl. It's
yes.
like
Yes.
somebody that's popping.
Yes.
So I just really like that portion, like prima. I really like that. So I
Yes.
was like, I tried to think of a name that was like catchy, and that's what I thought of. I was like, oh, prima.
Mm,
That's like
mm,
that's kind of cool. So I just kept it. I had it since I was 15. That's when I
mm.
first made an Instagram. I never changed it. I just feel like it sticks, it sticks. Like it's
Yes.
just I've been wanting to change it, because I'm older and I'm like, oh, is this childish? But I mean, I feel like I branded myself with that name,
Yes.
so I kind of just have to stick with it.
Okay, okay. So with some to people who don't know you presently at the moment, so what would you describe yourself as a style director, a stylist? What is the difference between the two, and how did you and if you were in both of them, how did you get into them? Just take us through your journey there if you can.
Yeah. So a style director, I feel like is somebody that comes aboard on a project
Yes,
and kind of curates the style for the project. So
yes,
specifically like styling the models,
yes,
um, just doing the whole like creative direction behind the styling
yes,
and
yes.
what just the fashion of it,
Mm,
aspect of it. Um, as a wardrobe stylist, excuse me. sorry, as a wardrobe stylist, I want to say that my purpose for being a stylist is that I really love fashion, but I also love just creating looks and
Mhm,
being able to change
mhm,
um, someone's image. I think
mhm,
that essentially that's what styling is. And I think
mhm,
people want to feel beautiful. They want to feel good in their clothes. And that's something that I'm passionate about.
mhm.
I love being able to um, kind of curate like a message through fashion and through
Yes,
styling. I think that's so important. I mean, when we look at, I feel like for me, I don't know if this is how other people are, but I feel like the first thing you see when you meet somebody is you also see what they're wearing. That's like your first,
yes,
um, view of that person, your
yes,
first impression. So, um, and I
yes,
think style and fashion really also represents culture and people,
yes,
and that's something that I'm very passionate about as well. Um, and I just want to be a part of it, especially
yes,
because I feel like the fashion industry was built on Black culture
yes,
in all aspects and all subcultures of Black culture. So um, that's something that I'm passionate about. And I guess that's the difference
yes,
between,
yes,
uh, you know. So I essentially what I want to do, being a style director, I just want to come on board and be able to curate whatever message or
yes.
vision that someone has for their, whether it's their brand, whether it's just a campaign,
Yeah.
a shoot, stuff like that.
Okay, okay. So then your journey, when did it start? When you were in high school,
College.
in
No, in
college?
college. I mean,
Yes.
I've always been super passionate about fashion. I've always loved fashion since I was like a child. I used to play with brass dolls. I don't know,
Mhm.
it's like Barbie, but
Yes,
I used to play with them as a child, and I used to tear their clothes apart and put stuff together.
yes,
But when I got to college, I kind of had this exploratory year where I realized that okay, like I studied psychology in college, and
yes,
I plan to go to law school.
yes.
But then I started to really get into, I think I was about a sophomore going into my junior year, and I realized that I really love fashion, that I
Mm-hmm.
really want to pursue something with fashion. I realized that I can, and that there are careers in fashion where I can be successful, and I'm not limited to just a practical career, And I feel like a lot of young Black people, especially, I think within our like families, they expect us to do the practical jobs. Creative jobs are not really seen as they're not seen in a high standard as practical jobs. And I mean, like, doctors, lawyers,
Serious.
nurses. Yeah.
I thought it was all the way in Africa, because you guys are
Mhm.
like the entertainment hub of the world. So I would have thought it wouldn't be as difficult.
It's hard. I mean, until you really, really like make it, I think creatives go through a long period of grinding until they get to, where they want to be, and then that point of success. And I feel like some parents can be supportive, but some parents are not supportive, like
Mm,
I feel like within the Black community, especially in the US, it's we're taught that we have to work 10 times as hard,
God,
you
yes,
know, compared to our white counterparts, and I
yes,
think that affects our dreams because we think that we're only limited to do,
it
okay, well, I
does.
have to
Yes,
be a doctor because my mom
yes,
wants me to do, and
yes,
that's, I have to show that I'm smart and that
yes,
I want to be
yes,
successful, as opposed to, oh, like, I really love photography and I'm
yes,
really into photography, and you know I have done all this work, and now Vogue wants me to shoot their January cover. It's stuff like that where parents, especially if you have older parents, like my both of my
yes,
parents are boomers.
yes,
So those are people that are born like the baby boomer
yes,
era. So it took them a while to really understand what I wanted to
yes,
do and what I like. I mean, even now my dad will say, "Oh, she's a fashion designer," even
yes.
though I'm a stylist. So it's hard. But I will say I started this exploratory like year, and I realized that I really want to start fashion. I started looking for careers. I started trying to narrow down, okay, what, I know I love fashion, but what do I see myself doing? What do I like?
Hmm.
What am I doing in these projects that, and I realized also at that point I was growing a social media following, and I was just posting like my style. I really love displaying my style, and I really just started blogging, but I really realized like, wow, I like want to curate like shoots. I want to really like style other people. I want to curate a message with every shoot. I want there to be some sort of message. I want to be able to um, also represent Black men and women. I remember growing up, I would look at major fashion magazines like
Mm-hmm.
Vogue and Teen Vogue and
Mm-hmm.
um, Allure and all those, and I would never see a Black girl. I would never see a Black woman, never see a Black man, and I feel like that's also part of why I love Stylist too. Is I want that representation. I want to be able to bring representation to Black women in all shades. I feel like that's important, and I think that especially here, people don't really talk about issues in the Black community, especially issues that women face. Colorism, all that stuff is important, and lack of representation. And then also, you will see white models wearing
Yes.
Black hairstyles,
Yes.
and then when they could have used a Black woman, and just
Mhm.
cultural appropriation. Just seeing all that is heartbreaking, you know,
Okay.
and yeah.
So for you right now, would you say um would you say the the fashion industry, right, as it is, because we hear from the likes of your Kanye West and so forth. We see them go to Europe and so forth. Um, would you say the USA, in terms of culture, style, they leading, or would you say Europe is leading?
I would say Europe.
Europe.
I would say Europe. I would say, in terms of fashion, yeah, I feel like a lot of fashion trends that I see it in the UK, for
Mm,
example, or France first, and then
yes.
it'll come over here. So a lot of the styles so that's also a funny thing too. When I started blogging, I followed a bunch of European bloggers, and I really
Yes.
love their
Yes.
style. And I think
Yes.
that helped find
Yes.
my
Yes.
style as well. And I started
Yes.
shopping at
Yes. Yes.
European brands.
Okay. European style.
Yeah. I like that. Because I feel like the US is just, I don't know, we're behind. If you don't live in like New York, I would say even
Yes.
LA lifestyle, people don't really know. Like people that are from LA,
Mm,
I think the style is very streetwear. So it's a little hard to tell. Not saying that streetwear is not popping, but it's like they kind of invented also like streetwear, but sneaker culture. So
mm,
they're more so like on the West Coast, especially in California, it's more about like Vans, you
mm,
know,
mm,
of course they wear like Nikes and stuff like that, but it's more so like I wouldn't say it's in a fashionable way. It's more so like that's just how they dress. They don't
mm,
look at it as fashion. That's just a part of like who they
yes.
are. It's not really like seen as a big thing. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like New York and cities like Washington D.C. that trickle down. I think that's where we take fashion more seriously. I want to say they're feeling laid back, and we're
Yeah.
very, you know what I mean?
So how hard then is it of an industry then to enter in terms of um in America for you to become a stylist? Is it easy? What are some of the challenges and what are some of the highlights for you in this particular
Um,
industry you're in?
I will say it's difficult because you have to create opportunities for yourself and create a name for yourself, and sometimes it's not always. I will say what's most important with this industry is to network,
Mhm,
because you're not going to get anywhere if you're not manifesting what you want and you're not networking and reaching out to
mhm.
people. I feel like especially during this time, I kind of had to do a 360. So
Yeah.
especially since the industry,
Yes.
everything it's not essential, so
Yes.
it's shut down, because of
Yes.
COVID. So I've been reaching out to people, I've been reaching out to brands, in case things do open. And I think that's important, reaching out to brands that you want to work with as a stylist, or people that you want to work with, or just looking for opportunities, but also creating opportunities for yourself and making sure, I would say, to be a stylist is creating your
Mhm,
portfolio
mhm,
that's going to really put you on, that's
mhm,
your work.
mhm,
And making sure that when you do work with people, that you work with like-mind creatives, you work with
mhm,
creatives that are um, in the same field but have the same vision as you
mhm,
too. I think that's important. And then also making sure that you are conveying whatever message you want um, to an audience, and who is your audience as a stylist, because it could be different things. style is very versatile. Fashion is very versatile, so it's not limited to just one um, community or one person. You know, you have to really, really figure out what who your audience is and who you want to style. You know what I'm saying? And narrow down what type of styling do you want to do. Do you want to do editorial? Do you want to do celebrity?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will also help determine where you could go, because those are all different, you know, sub categories of styling, you
Mm,
know, and wardrobe styling. Celebrity is very different from editorial. You know,
mm,
editorial is just a quick job, but celebrity is like you are styling that person 24/7,
mm.
you know, and it's very, very, I would say, more high maintenance than editorial.
Okay.
And yeah, so just narrowing down what you want to do, and working for people who are in that industry is a hard industry to get into, but you
Yes.
can't give up. You have to like
Yes.
work for people that are high up, because
Yes.
that's back to networking. That's your key to get into the door, literally.
So would you then say, actually, let me not ask this one, and let me, before I get to that, like get to,
Yeah.
so in terms of how do you then get paid as a stylist? Do you get paid a monthly salary? Do you get paid a retainer? Do you get paid pay? Listen, dressing you for this particular event and pay outfit. You're gonna charge me this particular rate. How do you determine this rate? Is this rate consistent for every one of your clients, or do you go, listen, because you have 2 million followers, for example, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I will actually charge you more or less, or you get what I'm saying? Will I charge you? Will you charge that person more, or will you charge them less because maybe there's that exposure they get also expose you to? So I don't know. How does it work?
If it's a celebrity that I'd be styling, of course I would
Yeah.
have a different rate, and I would um, work that out with their either
Mm,
financial advisor or their assistant. But in terms of just for my business as a whole, it is one set rate. And then also, I was working for a company where I was an in-house stylist for their brand, so they
yes.
paid monthly. So it just depends on whether you're freelancing or you're hired by an
Yes.
agency or a company.
Yes.
'Cause that's going to be different. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You're hired by an agency, they're going to give you different gigs. So you're going
Yes.
to be paid by that gig and whatever that gig, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that could be depending on how many gigs you get, you know, that
Yes.
could be a lot of money per month. So it varies. But I know as a freelance stylist, I have my own set fees, you know,
Okay.
and there's, but if I do, you know, style somebody that's higher in terms of like status, their
Yes.
celebrity or social media status, it would definitely I would definitely work out a different price with their assistant. So it just depends on the person. But
Okay.
I will say brands, if you do work for a brand, they're gonna pay you, you know, like a job. They're gonna pay you salary, and that's what I was getting with the job that I was working for in LA.
Okay. Okay, okay, okay. So then, which one would you say then you prefer? You prefer um being being a freelancer per se, or working for a company?
I would prefer an agency
Uh-huh.
where I could pick and choose what gigs I would want to
Yes,
partake in. I
yes,
think that's something I would prefer, because you would have access to higher brands, for example, like Nike
yes,
or Nordstrom, you know, stuff like that.
yes.
So I think that's what I would prefer for sure.
Ooh, okay, okay, okay. Now that
That's
definitely
the level
makes sense.
of it. Yeah.
All right, that definitely makes sense. So then, in the interest of time, obviously, I'm gonna cut this interview a bit short because we have a second part with you there that we're gonna shoot as well. But before we actually close it down, I just like have like two or three more questions to ask. First and foremost, um, your five worst dressed celebrities.
Oh my God. Five dress, five worst dressed celebrities. Okay, people that I think dress terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Ugh. Okay, I can't say best. I gotta say worst.
We're gonna get to best.
Okay, number one, he's a rapper. I hate how little baby dresses.
Okay.
I hate how little baby dresses. I'm trying to think. Oh, I hate how 69 dresses. I really just don't like him, so maybe that's
Yeah,
biased, but I hate how
yeah.
he dresses. People are gonna drag me for this. I really do love Nicki Minaj. I really, really do.
Uh-huh.
But I hate how she dresses sometimes. It's not
You feel?
recently she's been okay. Yeah, some stuff I'm like, Nicki, what are you doing?
Oh,
But
why?
I love Nicki. I'm really a Nicki stan. I don't want anybody to drag me for this. I really love her.
You feel it's
Um,
inappropriate for her age? What's up?
just no. I think it's just more so like she'll have really nice designer
Yes,
pieces on, but it'll be like too much designer, or she'll just like have like these big fur boots. I just hate fur boots.
yes. All right.
Um, oh, do I hate?
So you've given me three so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Hmm.
Okay, okay. Whilst you're doing that, also think of your three best. You can actually shoot into your three best, then we'll get back to the. Okay, your five best.
I know my five best.
Yes.
Okay, so Rihanna, of course. Chloe and Haley. I
Mhm.
love Ryan Destiny.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think. Who else? I love Doja Cat. I love how Doja Cat dresses.
Mhm.
Stylist is A1.
Mhm.
And who else? Oh, Solange, for
Oh.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Interesting. I don't see Beyonce on that list.
Oh,
I
I was gonna say Beyonce,
don't
but
see.
Beyonce stylist. I love her stylist.
Yes.
Beyonce would come. I really love Solange.
Yes.
Beyonce style too.
I don't
Okay.
see. I don't hear of any Kardashian on
Oh,
the list or
Azealia Banks.
Jenna.
Azealia Banks.
Azealia Banks. Ooh, okay, okay. I see why. I see why. I see why. I see why. So not none of the Kardashian Jenner family members.
Oh, I mean, I love how they dress, but they're white women.
Okay, okay. So then celebrities that you love to style.
That I would love to style. I would love to style Ari Lennox. Just one or multiple.
Get multiple.
I would love to
Give me
style
three.
Ari Lennox, Normani, and Flo Milli. She's a rapper. I would love to
Yes,
style.
yes, yes. All right, all right, all right, all right. So then, in closing, I just want to find out from you, what advice would you give to somebody, um, who wants to explore the particular industry that you're in,
Mhm,
and things. Obviously, your advice can also be in terms of things you wish you knew before you went in,
mhm.
that yeah, and so forth, and your biggest regrets, mistakes, and yeah.
I would the best advice I could give somebody,
Yes,
I will say is to brand yourself as a stylist, and in doing so, make sure you have your website,
yes,
make sure you have a portfolio, make
yes.
sure you build yourself and do different projects that you're passionate about.
Okay.
And something I wish I knew is setting boundaries with
Yes.
your styling, but with styling fees and
Yeah.
charging people. I will say I don't care if this is your
Yeah.
your your mom's cousin, auntie,
Yes.
whatever wants to style them. I don't care if it's your friend,
Yes.
your best boyfriend. Who cares? I feel like if they care about you and they support you, they should pay you.
Okay. Yes.
Anytime they ask you to style them, anybody, they should pay you. So make sure that you set those boundaries for yourself
Mm,
early on, because that's going to establish, moving forward, you're not going to take a lot of um, free. What am I trying to say? You're not going to do a lot of free work. But I will say, if you are working for a stylist and they're higher up, sometimes free work will help you get to where you want to go. So
yes. Yes.
be humble yourself a little bit, but make sure you're still conscious of what you're doing. Don't let them overwork you. If you're not
Mm,
getting paid for the job, do the 6 hours, 5, 6 hours, and go.
mm.
Don't ever overwork yourself, because that's not fair.
Okay.
Um, so that's something I wish I knew. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Tony, for joining us for this particular leg of the interview. And thank you very much for everything. And viewers, we have a particular leg that we have with her that we're about to record right now. Yeah, we'll be finding out. what are the misconceptions or conceptions or ideas that she has about Africa, and obviously we will tell her about like what we have or what we think of the United States. Obviously, we think of it as the land of milk and honey, but obviously there's other things as well. All right, and that's it from my side, and I believe that's it from Tony too. See you
Thank
next time.
you.
All right.